Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Well, it's 11 a.m. Friday, Eastern Standard Time, and 8 a.m. Pacific, and you know exactly what that means. It's time for another exciting conversation with Dr. Gretta Chamberlain and the Realm of Beings. Carol has the day off, so good morning, Gretta, and my name is Kathleen Lee, the original. So I am going to kind of be the moderator today, if that's okay with the audience. So today's quote, let me put my glasses on, pardon me for one moment. It's Remembrances. Many have chosen to transition through the process of sacrificing themselves. Showing acceptance and appreciation for their choices is showing unconditional love for them. Release the presence of sorrow from your life and honor those who have transitioned with the intent of helping others. So our description of this topic today is examines the choice that individuals make to help others by using the transition process. I'm Gretta. The realm gave you this, and I can't tell you what popped through my head. All I know is, and then I'm going to turn it over. Okay, I can remember when my mother looked at me in all my red, black, and green during the Civil Rights Movement, and she said, "Who do you think you are?" And I said, "I'm ready to die for the revolution, for the cause." And I mean, I meant it too. She looked at me and I had my fist up, Ungawa Black Power. And I know you were right there too, Greta. That's why you're laughing. So I was willing to throw it all down for the freedom of the revolution in my mind and my heart, in my head. I meant that. In my parents' house, they said, "Not today." But I'll never forget them saying, "You don't have to be the one to sacrifice yourself." Now, I'm going to move forward. This is before I understood that I created my own reality. Because I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. So, as you can tell, I am not a computer-generated AI person sitting here. I'm still in the flesh. I'm still here. I'm alive. I'm alive and well. So I guess you could say I created not to go, not to transition or sacrifice myself. And my parents basically supported me in not making my transition before I was 16.
That is so wonderful, Kathy. I'm so glad you didn't leave, because then we get to be with each other. Okay. You know, when you read the quote to me, you know, sometimes I forget that these are the quotes. So I said, "Dag," I said, "Whoa, that is so deep." Because when you lose somebody, I don't care how you lose them, you know, you go through some form of grief over it. And to say turn around and look at the situation with a positive light can be challenging. I know for me, it was very challenging when I lost individuals in my family. It was very difficult to do. But you know, at the same token, once we get into the understanding that everybody creates their own reality, then we can look at it differently. You see, you and I didn't know that then. You see, we didn't know anything about each person creates their own reality. So the only thing we could do was to go into sadness, because that's the humanoid thing. You know, if you're not walking around going, so and so died. You know, we're not doing that. And look at you looking with that stone face on your face.
Well, because I'm trying not to do what I realize I do when I watch the show. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking up, so I'm trying to think straight now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. You said you were going to try and do that.
I said, I'm going to focus on, like, looking straight into the camera. Can you see me, camera? Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, now we're in a different place. You know, we're definitely in a different place. We're in a place that we can honor the people that made their transition. You know, when I lost my baby, there was no way that you could convince me that a child before they're born can transition out of here, you see. And then, but I think the quote is talking about transitioning for the purpose of helping others and helping another person.
Sacrificing themselves.
Right, right. But see, we can look at it with the idea that people that did that had purpose in their lives. They had a purpose of why I'm going to do this. You know, not realizing that what goes along with it is that they made a decision back at the incarnate stage.
That's what I was going to get to. Did they know? Were they in agreement? Like Dr. King, was he in agreement? Because his last speech is so prophetic. I may not get to the promised land, but you know, you're going to get there, but I won't be there. You know,
right. You know, and it's even with him, you know, and with others. Think of all the people that have sacrificed themselves during war, you know, to help others, you know. So in that case, you know, you can look and say, well, I lost my husband, I lost my brother, you know, I lost a family member, my cousin, or whatever, to support us in quote unquote freedom. And that's okay. But the thing is, I think this quote is saying, let us understand that each person creates their reality regardless if it's to transition or not. That's a planned situation. It looks planned.
It is planned. It has to be. Because, I mean, think of Casey Jones. Casey Jones was an engineer. You know the song, whoop, whoop. I mean, the song is, this is 1900. He's a real hero. He had one hand on the whistle and one foot on the brake. And he slows the train down so everybody can jump off. And he's the one that decides to sacrifice himself because the person that's supposed to take over for him got sick. So he winds up getting crashed in Mississippi. And they made a song about him. But it couldn't be chance or coincidence that the guy got sick.
Right. It isn't. Sometimes I've heard of places where someone didn't go to work and somebody took their place, you know. But that's because back at the incarnation stage, before we're even born, we decide that I'm only going to stay in this physical vehicle, which is our bodies, or I'm only going to stay in this particular reality for a certain amount of time. Be it a baby. See, they think a baby is a baby. But what we want to know is that the baby sure is a baby physically, but the baby exists beyond the physicality of that. That it is a spirit. It is the energy. It is the force energy. So it makes decisions. Decisions were made. I'm checking out at such and such a time. You know, it's like I heard, and I'm sure you have heard of other examples, you know, but I heard of this example where this plane crashed. Everybody on the plane made their transition except for a baby.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. The baby lived through the whole thing. Everybody else transitioned out. And that was because the baby didn't transition out. It's not by luck. It's not by somebody coming down and saying, oh, let me save you. No, it was that it was not time for that baby to leave this reality.
Question, Greta, for you or the realm, but what came to me with the whole Casey thing and with anyone, you can change when or how you want to transition. So my question is, did Casey and the guy that got sick, that he said, I don't think I want to go today. So I think I'm just going to create not to have that happen to me. And Casey said, you know, I agreed to do this, and I think I'll just go ahead and smash into this other train and go, because everyone else made it off but him.
Right, right. I know of a friend of mine. I know she's already made her transition now. She was a well-known medium. And she told me about this gentleman who came. She used to always do her readings in her kitchen. And when I got there visiting her, she told me about this gentleman. She said, you know, he came to me and I did a reading for him. And I told him, this is what she tells him now, don't go to work today on the train. Because he used to always take the train in Chicago, 71st Street. It runs through the kind of like through the city, you know. Said, don't take that train tomorrow. If you take that train, you're going to make your transition. Do not do that. That was her suggestion. Well, did he listen to it? No. He went on, got on the train. The train had a big accident and he died. So that shows you that, okay, he was already warned, don't do that. But something said to him in his mind, I'm not going to listen to her. I'm going to get on the train like I do and go to work as usual. So he did that, you know, and created, because when you give when a psychic person tells you something, that is a probability that that's going to happen, because you've got to create the reality. You know, you've got to create the reality. So he accepted what she said and created the reality. But why did he accept it? Because he had already created that possibility before he was even born. There you go.
How did she see it? How did she see that was even going to happen? Like, there's no time. So was she able to, like, you know?
She felt it the next day. She told him, she said, do not, because she told me, she said, I told that man not to get on the train and go to work the day that it happened. She said, I told him that. He didn't listen to me. But you know, when it's time for the individual to leave because they've set that time themselves, then you just got to let it be.
And you know what? And that's the struggle, because you can tell someone, you know, if you stop drinking this wine or stop drinking, you can live to be 90. And as you're telling them that, they're sitting there quietly sipping and they're listening to you. And it's like they either don't believe it or they have just decided that they're going to just do it their way. And sure enough, let's say if it's the last thing that you do is take 2 glasses of wine, and then all of a sudden it triggers another health event and you wind up not coming back home. It's because that person has decided, just like you said, I don't think I want to live to be 90. And they already decided when they were going to make their transition. And, you know, and I can remember, you know, some people saying, you know, I just want to see my children grown and married. I just want to see my parents gone. I just want to see this. So then I know I want to make sure this is paid off. I want to make sure everyone else is going to be all right. And then I'll make my transition. Now, not on the conscious level, but sometimes they spoke it. So if sometimes it's hard to accept the choices that they make. And that's what this quote is saying. But I don't think they intend to sacrifice themselves, because there are kids that sacrifice themselves. Because sometimes it's just, and when I think of sacrifice, it's almost like it's an unplanned event, you know? But then you can have like a police officer that's willing to walk outside and put on a strap on a gun and know he may not come home, you know? It's like tempting a sacrifice. Well, you know, just some people just do it, and it's just part of their job to do it.
Right,
or they recognize the dangers of it.
Right, and they move ahead. They move ahead
Because they don't live in fear.
Right. You know, when my car caught on fire, you know, in my driveway. My husband was where was he? In Nevada. And I called him. I told him, I said, I'm not going out there to turn that car on. So when Tyler, a friend of ours, came over, I said, Tyler, go out there. It was wintertime. I said, go out there and turn the car on. He turned the car on and he came back in. He says, Greta, I think the car is smoking. It's burning. I said, really? I said, wow. I said, so I went out there and looked at it. We both went out on the porch. It was cold as I don't know what, because it was in January. And so he tried to get the hood of the car up. He couldn't pull the hood of the car up. So he looked at me and he said, I know I looked at him. I said, you think we should call the fire department? He said, I think so. I said, okay. So I called the fire department because my car was sitting in the driveway between two houses. And I quickly, because the thought came, let this thing not blow up. And then we got more of something. So I said, oh, dismiss that. Dismiss it, Greta, dismiss it. So I dismissed that thought. The fire department came up. But this was my thing that I wanted to say. When they finally got the hood up, the car didn't even want the hood to get up. You know, so they used whatever that thing is that to get it up. I forgot the name of it. Soon as they got the hood up, man, the black smoke was coming. The flames were coming up off of the engine. And I'm watching this fireman. Now, this, I thought it was so amazing. I watched him take the hose. They brought the hose up. Calm as I don't know what. Came up, watered down the car. The flames went down. But while the flames were there, I mean, that man was standing there in absolute confidence, absolute peace. I'm standing on I'm just watching my car burn up. I mean, like this is another phenomenon I'm not used to. Okay.
I know you weren't in it.
No, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And so I just watched him, and then they came up, the lieutenant came up. There were two of them working on the car. Somebody else was at the truck, the driver and whoever else. And then he came, he said, well, I've got to go bring the instrument now and put it next to in the car just to make sure it's not burning, because it looked like the fire was out. Well, when he put the instrument there, which I don't remember the name of it, turned out the fire was still burning. You just couldn't see it. So he started it was at the starter, wherever the starter's located, it was burning there. And they start putting water on the starter. But listen to this. This is the most amazing thing. He came back and he told me, well, it's all done. He said, but the strangest thing happened. I said, what happened? He said, the car tried to start itself 6 times while we were putting the fire out.
Oh, there's probably some dark angels and dark dragons in that car.
Trying to help it along, right? But my thing is that with watching them reminded me of and this is a very sensitive subject to many people, but it I've been studying 9/11 now for a year. I'm past my year, and for some odd reason, I have been brought to study it and to learn about it. And I listen to the people who have lost husbands and daughters and things like that and are still losing people. But that fire in my car assisted me in watching that policeman. I mean, not policeman, but fireman. And it showed such courage. And he showed dedication.
Yep.
And didn't show any fear of it at all. None whatsoever. It was just, he was totally focused that his job was to put out that fire.
And that,
And
right,
I know that at 9/11, and I'm going to move off of that subject, I'm not going to stay on it very long, but all of those people that made their transition, especially the police
and the firemen.
And the firemen and the EMTs, and that went in there to help people. You know, that they might have had a certain amount of fear in their hearts, but they were so dedicated and so courageous that they moved ahead on that. And
Yep.
I think as I studied that event, I think spirit led me, or the realm of beings led me to study that event because I've learned a lot from it. And I think that perhaps that quote came out of that we have to honor those people. It comes a point in time that we know it's sorrow connected to that as being humanoid, but it's to be in peace. And some people to this day have not 20 years later or 23 years later now. Yeah, 23 years later, still have no peace. And it's to find peace within inside ourselves because there was a choice that they made. Some people go into survivor guilt because they'll say, why wasn't it me? Why did I trade places? Why did I wind up on vacation and couldn't get there? So they go into that. And I think this program is also for those who have gone into survivor's guilt in reference to anything where death has taken a person, that it is to honor them because they chose when they were going to move and make their transition. And chose how they were going to do it.
Yeah, and all that sounds real good on this Zoom and on TTR network.
Right.
But when you are the human dealing with this, it could take a long time. And when you think you're through with it, and the little things that kind of come back at you, but when I think about, like when my husband transitioned and my parents and other members of my family, it's like, it can be very feelings of loneliness, even though sometimes it's like hard to have any joy, but then I think about some of the, what brings a smile to my face, and, it'll come. But as humans, I think throughout history, we have always honored. We found, maybe not right at that time, but we always find a way to honor those that made that ultimate sacrifice, whether it's Casey Jones in 1900, whether it's the Buffalo Soldiers in Italy, or the Tuskegee Airmen, or any, or even go back even further in history, where and you put up military graveyards and you put up statues and you things of that nature. But sometimes it can be a little testy now because it depends on who you're trying to honor. But I'm going to let the realm talk about the big one. I don't know if we're allowed to with this religious. I think his initials are JC, and is Jesus. So, that's kind of interesting when you think about it, because, in the Japanese culture, to take one's life is, you have to do it honorably. But in a lot of other cultures, like in the Catholic, because you're Catholic, Greta, Suicide
No,
is
I'm a
that's
spiritual being, Kathy.
okay, okay, okay. Well, your spiritual beingness knows about other um places where you can't be buried in a graveyard if you made your transition in certain ways. And I don't know if I'm off topic now.
No, it's not off topic because I think you're right on topic. Because see, part of deciding when you're going to go, you're also deciding how you want to go.
Okay.
Now, some people go through trauma. Some people go through just going to sleep and passing on. But it's how do you want to transition? It's choice. See, I think if anything, we want the audience to understand that there's choice involved with that. It's not that you just up and die. That's not what happens. It's choice. It's all we have choice about everything. It's like I know I was supposed to go at around 82, between 82 and 85. I said, oh my goodness. I said, and I've said this on the podcast before, I said, I'm not going to have time to finish everything that I committed to finish here. So therefore, let me go between 97 and 100.
Well,
and
thank goodness.
and I know I can change it. So because why? Because it's my choice. It's my choice when I leave here. It's not somebody else's choice. My friend, he was a minister to people of the night. Let me put it to you like that. I got another call from another friend of mine who's a minister and knew him also and said, he's dead. I said, how did he die? He was running away from a bullet. They were chasing, what do you call that, drive-by? They were doing a drive-by shooting and he was running with the others. And instead, a bullet hit him in his back and he died instantly in that space. So I could go down into the valley, but I said, into the valley of condition, that sometimes I call it, but it's to realize, okay, Thomas, you made this decision. I honor you to have made this decision. Now that takes a lot.
It sure does, Gretta. It takes a lot.
So it's something to really practice. When my husband died, it was like, okay, you made the decision. At the time when he died, I was only 24. So no, how old was I? 25, 26, something like that. So I did not know about that. And, because I did not know that this was a decision that he made, that I could that he made the decision how he was going to transition, and he made the decision when he was going to transition, that would have saved me 6 years of mourning. Mm. Literally, I thought I had moved on. I went to see an African dance group because my husband was African. He was Mandingo, in fact. And the griot with the instrument came out and was singing in Mandingo. I'm sitting in there 6 years later, and I hear this Mandingo song being played by this griot, and what happens to me? Tears start coming down my eyes. I was glad that was the last song or the last dance that they did. So when I walked out there, I got in my car because I was by myself. I got in my car, Kathy, and you talk about somebody who boo-hooed. This was 6 years later. I'm sitting up there crying because he died.
And on that note, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Gretta, but we have to go to break.
Okay.
And to the audience, don't touch that dial. Don't click. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I hope you subscribed and liked our station. Actually, our podcast. We need you to do that. Thank you so very much. But we're back with this hot topic and this heavy quote. And the realm of beings is with us. I can feel them. Good morning, realm.
Good morning, Kathleen.
Oh, every time you say that, you remind me of my mother. She only said it when I was in trouble. And I think I'm going to get in trouble, maybe. Oh, I'm not going to create that. Cancel. I'm going to share the quote that you gave us, or you gave Greta, as soon as I put okay. It's on Remembrances, realm. Many have chosen to transition through the process of sacrificing themselves, showing acceptance and appreciation for their choices, and showing unconditional love for them. Release the presence of sorrow from your life and honor those who have transitioned with the intent of helping others. What is sacrifice?
We heard Greta suggest that you ask us that
And
question.
I didn't want to be called Kathleen again, so I decided to ask it.
All righty, Kathy. Sacrifice. What is sacrifice really? It's going to be within the person who's doing it first. And then it doesn't mean that the individuals at the time that they're doing something think that they're sacrificing. You see what I'm saying? The people who are actually doing it, the soldiers, the policemen, the firemen, the someone going to help somebody, they don't, at the time that they're doing that act, they're not thinking sacrifice. They just think, I'm doing my job or I'm helping this person. They don't think I'm sacrificing my own life for the well-being of others. That's not in that person's head. But sacrifice, where is it? Whose head is it in? It's in the person who's perceiving the act of the other person. That's where the sacrifice is, Kathleen. You see? It's not with the person who is doing the act. It's with the person who's perceiving the act. And it's a judgment call to say that person sacrificed themselves for me, or those people sacrificed themselves for us. It's our perception, it's our judgment of how we view that act of courage. You see, we're judging it. So today's quote, we gave it because we want to impress upon people to release the sorrow, release the pain and anguish, and respect the person because he or she adhered to their commitment. I am going to exist in this reality until I am 2 years old. Or I'm going to stay within this reality until I am 106. Or I'm going to stay in this reality until I am 45. You see. Choice. This is choice. And it's the other person who's perceiving the act. It's their choice to decide if they want to mourn forever. If that is your choice to mourn forever, then we have to honor you to do that. Like we were around when Greta's husband died, and she was going through the process of grief. For 6 years, we stood and watched. We have a lot of patience. But she had to learn that there was no need to stay there, because the person who went through the act of transitioning, however they chose to do it, it was their decision, and how they chose to do it was their decision. We honor them. And how do we honor them? We honor them through knowing that they have moved on and that they are doing better. We want everybody to see that person doing better. Don't see them getting worse. See them doing better, moving on. It's a release. I'm releasing myself from these things. Of course, the person left somebody behind. Yes. There are going to be people that are going to be left behind. Like Greta was left behind, like you were left behind. But the thing is to honor that person and let them know it's okay. It's okay that you left. Because you see, the physical body leaves and they move on to do their next transition. However, their spiritual energy stays. See, when you think about a person that you've lost, you're maintaining the memory of that person within you. You're maintaining their energy. You're retaining that energy of them, you see. So in retaining that energy of them, be in joy and peace. If you cannot be in joy, but be in peace for that person.
But sometimes, Realm, I think for a lot of people, I think it depends on how the person decided to make their transition. If it was on a battlefield, or if it was, in a twin tower, sometimes if it's unexpected, it can really just jolt you. It can really, it can really just take you, like just totally obliterate everything. But why do we see people as dead?
That's because there's an old adage, not an old adage, it's a collection. It's a collection of ideas and a collection of thoughts. A long time ago, I'm sure before they started saying the concept of death, the ancient Comedian people believed that there was an afterlife, you see. So, and then even in China, look at when they put all those soldiers, those big statues of soldiers in the tomb with the emperor, wanted to take everything with them. We believe that because we don't see them anymore. You don't see them anymore. So what does that mean? They had to put a word to it. So groups of people and other cultural groups, what did they put to it? They called it death. Death. And what else did they put to it? They put the concept of end. You remember a long time ago in these podcasts, maybe this year, we talked about the 5 senses. You guys talked about it. So when you see a body and you don't see that physical body breathing, you don't see it. You put your hand over the mouth and knows, and you don't feel them breathing. So you don't see them, you don't feel them, and you say, well, the body is gone. The body is gone, but not the person. That's all. The physical body shut down. It's like when Greta talked about her car burning up in the driveway. We were there, we witnessed it. It was a very interesting situation. She says she created it to burn up. And that was all right with us. We just watched, But the thing is, it died. So what did they do? They took it away. When the body dies, what do? We take it away in some kind of way. You either cremate it, you bury it, or whatever, you see. So, but the thing is that only the physical, that's why we say the energy of the individual is always there. Because we forget that we're one with everything. So your oneness with your husband, or Greta's oneness with her husband, did not stop because the physical body had taken a break. The rest of the beings don't take a break. They're still going, they're still there. So, but because of they're in absence, and our five senses can't tell us anymore that they're alive, so then we go into they're dead. That is the biggest
illusion.
Thank you. That is the biggest illusion going. So you sit down and you mourn over an illusion.
And then you blame yourself and you say, well, because there are some, like this whole month we were talking about, mommy dearest, like loving your children unconditionally. And, they make their own choices. And sometimes they've already decided how they're going to transition and when they're going to transition. But, it's like your instincts kick in where you want to, protect, like you watch a mother bear. I've watched a kitten. I watched a chicken, a hen, take on a cobra to protect its chicks. And, they made it. I don't know if they made it past the frying pan later on, but they made it that day, to grow into a frying chicken or whatever. But it's just, it seems like some things are just instinct, but some things are just still hard to, I don't know if codify is the right word, just hard to accept. It's the acceptance that I won't physically see my husband again. Even though there are things even in my office where I am, there are things like my parents, I'm looking at the pictures. You have your memories, but
absolutely. But see, we're saying, yes, keep those memories because that's their energy. Keep their pictures. That's their energy of them at that time that they were with you. But at the same token, release the idea that they are dead. See, it's the idea of them being dead that keeps you in grief.
Yes, it does. I'm not going to lie. Yes, and I think it's the idea that keeps a whole lot of people in that state, and because sometimes the pictures can be a constant reminder of that also,
Yes.
so.
But Kathleen, it's how you're going to look at it. If you look at the pictures and say they're dead, then you're going to be in one frame of mind. But if you look at the pictures and you say in joy and in peace, they're living, which they are. They're just not living with you at the moment.
Yeah, I don't. I totally agree with you. And when I look at my parents' pictures, I don't see them as dead. I just see them, like I'm looking at my great grandmother's picture up there from 1857. I mean, I don't. It's funny, I don't see them as dead. Or my grandmothers, I don't see them as
Because you
dead.
never knew them physically. So it's easier for you to let go of them. Because in 18, how old are you, Kathy? Were you born in
I'll be
18?
sick. I'm almost 69.
Oh,
July
I thought
14th.
you might have been 100 and something.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
All right. See, okay, I'm going to protect myself, and then we're going to have a conversation. Oh, listen to me. Oh my gosh. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Mm.
What are you
So,
saying, Kathleen?
you know what?
You like our little joke. You didn't like it.
No, I like it, but this is like a week where everybody's clapping back, and it's just so much happening, all across the planet, all in the political scene, and I'm only messing.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
only joking. I'm only joking.
All of that illusionary stuff. I tell you. But, it's a human experience. We know that. But as we sit back and look at it, we look at illusion upon illusion upon illusion upon illusion.
Don't you get tired of looking at that?
Well, it depends. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. That's a humanoid experience.
Hey, wait a second.
Yes. What do you have for us, Kathleen?
Right now, a very strange expression on my face
Ooh,
because I'm trying to process that. I know, Greta. Good Lord. Oh, I can't. I guess I'm trying to imagine what it would feel like to not be tired. And now I don't know if I should have said that because I don't know. But then
we enjoy your jokes. We enjoy your jokes. Those are fun. We're using that humanoid expression so that you can understand we enjoyed it. Because enjoyment, it's humanoid. So we're trying to express ourselves through your way of thinking. Yes, we are. Because we realize that all of this stuff is not real. It's very illusionary.
How do we get to that state? How do we get to that state where we recognize that everything that we're looking at is an illusion? Because then that means we don't need the prisons. That means that if that person is in jail for murder, they didn't, that other person wanted to be killed. I mean, it's like we're living. Just came to me right now is that if we all realize we create our own reality, then it just changes. It's a whole paradigm shift here.
Absolutely.
It would be almost like an earthquake.
Absolutely. But see, guess what?
What?
When you understand that you create your reality and you understand you're the force and you understand that everyone in front of you is the force, then there's no need to create that which you don't want. Therefore, can you imagine what this reality of this world would be like if everyone understood they created their own reality, if everyone understood that they were the force, and that everyone understood that that they are one with each person, that there is no separation.
But Realm, suppose I some of these illusions I like the flowers behind me, the books I can hold in my hand. And when they say when there's no more illusion or you get rid of the illusion, there's no longer there, we see past it. Right now I'm looking at my television and it is off. It's all black. And I guess
But
part of it, yes.
You are still talking about these things. when you get to a point that these things are no longer important, you won't even think about it.
Oh, wow. Okay. But what will
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Right now is to stay in the now and to function there as best you can as a human person.
That's what I'm doing. I'm experiencing doing that. And I have my ups and my downs with my little thoughts. And then I laugh at some of my little thoughts. And then I, just going back to the topic about remembrances and thanking all of those that have made their transition, helping others, because I think it moves us as a species. I see it moving us as a species forward because I don't think we're really quite humans yet. Maybe we're still evolving into our own humanity, which is going to be very interesting when we talk to you in June about, I'm putting a plug here, making contact, even though we make contact every Friday with the realm of beings. I mean, we're going to have Alan Steinfeld here preparing for the new realities of extraterrestrial existence. And, it's that's the whole month of June, people. That's the whole month of June.
And we are looking forward to it ourselves.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
We are. We're looking forward to it.
I'm so sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm so sure you are. So,
can we close with one thing, please?
Yes, you may.
We just want to say to all of you who have lost somebody, be at peace within yourselves. Be at peace within yourselves, because the person that you lost is in peace. So you too be in peace and love yourselves unconditionally. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Carol will be back next week. And our topic, just to get you ready, is coexistence and other lives. All beings are created equal when they fully understand it, I'll fix it. It's oneness regardless of how it appears or acts. And I did get a rewrite on that, and I do apologize if I muffled that a little bit. But the bottom line is this. We're talking about it's devoted to all species that compose life within this reality and in this universe. And the discussions are going to center on the various lives present in this universe and how, like the realm of beings, and how they interact with each other, and specifically how they interact with human beings, like the realm of beings does on this podcast every Friday on Transformation Talk Radio on Shifting Impressions at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Pacific Time. And my name is Kathleen Lee, the original. And Greta, can you come back and say goodbye?
Yes, until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at transformationtalkradio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.